Talk to him.
The king scored.
I talked to him. By the way, I want to credit Kevin Wildes for actually sticking with his commentary, even though I know he wanted to do 10 minutes on the WNBA Finals MVP trophy. I'm certain it irks him that that's not a better trophy. More importantly, though, hey, it was all good just a few days ago, Tyler Hero, when you were snarling like a maniac after a Game 3 win. That didn't look silly at all. That was never going to come back and bite you, Tyler Hero. LeBron James early in Game 4 reminds you, hey, man, keep the snarl in your pocket until you can grow facial hair, or else stuff like that's going to happen to you, Jenna.
All right, well, LeBron James had another good night last night. That's not surprising. It's what he does. He plays basketball. He plays it well. What is surprising, though, is LeBron James' perplexing sleep schedule. Take a listen to this.
For me, I mean, at this point in the season, I don't care about rest. I really don't. I don't care about sleep. When I woke up from my nap,
I am up all night. Except I woke up from my nap and I decided I'm not going to sleep anymore. Pick one, LeBron. Are we napping?
No,
are we napping or are we not napping?
Nick, stop it, Nick.
There are
No, Nick, this is not your
kids
segment.
across the country emulating LeBron James, who they do not know. Are we napping today or are we not, Dad? What are we doing, Mom? So LeBron tweeted a live look into what he's doing right now. And here it is. And that is LeBron James. So we are going with the non-sleep. So kids, nap time is over. Yeah. We're pulling all-nighters.
What's the problem?
We're going to win NBA titles, and we'll discuss this more after I take my 3 o'clock nap.
Stop it,
all right,
Nick.
let's talk some Dallas Cowboys now.
You nailed it, Jenna. You nailed it.
This is how Nick does it. Their Super Bowl hopes seemingly dashed, not just because they're 1-3, but because of why they are 1-3. That defense, the worst scoring defense in the league, a defense that's allowing more than 36 points a game. Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman came down hard on the defense. Listen to what he had to say.
To me, I'd be embarrassed as a player to put that kind of performance on film that's going to be seen by your peers for the rest of the season. It was just not very good, and I know Mike Nolan is in the firing line right now. But over the years, you could always point to the way that the Cowboys played defensively. I mean, they played with great effort. They just flew around 11 guys and didn't always play great, but it was always there on film as far as the effort level. And I mean, I didn't see one guy on defense that I'd say had a good game. And the last touchdown that Odell Beckham scored when they'd cut it to 3 points, they had all the momentum. If they make a stop there defensively, they probably win the game.
All right, Brandon, some harsh words there from Troy Aikman about that Dallas D. What did you make of what he had to say?
The first thing that I thought about was what we've been talking about for a week now, just overcomplicating what they're doing on defense. That's what Coach Nolan has done. He's just overcomplicated everything. He needs to simplify it. It takes me back to 2010 and 2011. I had Coach Nolan as my defensive coordinator my last year in Denver and my first year in Miami. And I just remember seeing those guys after every single period huddle up and go through the script and take out pieces of paper and draw things up. And I'm like, guys, if you don't know this now, then there's a problem. We always had breakdowns in the secondary because he has so much that he can do. When you think about Coach Nolan and when he was good and really good at calling plays, you got to think about the defensive players he had. Ray Lewis, he had veterans, Ed Reed. He had guys that understood, football. He had guys that had high football IQ. When you don't have that and you're so banged up in the secondary, you got to simplify it. Right now, they need to go get a safety. I don't know if that's Tony Jefferson, Eric Reed, hell, even Eric Berry, and we talked about Earl. I don't know what they have against Earl Thomas, but he's sitting out there as well. It's too early to make an adjustment, but if they're going to make an adjustment, then they should have confidence in the guy they have behind Coach Nolan and George Edwards, who sat behind Coach Zimmer for 5 years in Minnesota. He's more than capable, but it's still a little too soon. Okay. Just simplify it. And I want to show you guys 2 plays to show you what I'm talking about. As a player, soon as the play starts, not even before the play starts, I should be able to understand exactly what they're in. Right now, I can't tell you what coverage this is. I don't know if this is 2, if it's quarters. It looks like it's quarters to me, and the toughest thing that you can do against the safety is run a post. So number 25 right there, Xavier Rhodes, when you look at this post play, that's on him, but everybody's looking at Thompson. Oh, this is on him. Well, no. In quarters coverage, everybody has a quarter of the field. So when you have that number 2 tight end on the right side of the formation, when he falls off, you got to go deep, or the corner's supposed to go deep and take the post, because we know that against quarters, the thing that can hurt you the most is a post play. So backside help is critical, but everybody's looking at Thompson like he's the problem. He's not the problem. It's the guys on the other side understanding the responsibility when their guy doesn't go past 10 yards. Let's go to the next play. Let's go to the Atlanta game, Hurst. I can't tell you what this coverage is, Jenna. I don't know if it's zone, if it's man. One of the things you know is when guys drop back, then you know it's zone. But you got some guys chasing. You got, number 24. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce his name. I call him CA. But CA, he's running across the field, what I believe is Julio, and you have Hurst coming in the backside. Well, who has this third of the field? Awuzie. There we go. I don't know what they're doing. They need to simplify what they're doing on defense so everyone has a chance to be successful, because you have Dak Prescott, who's throwing for 450 yards on the other side. So give it to Dak and let him win it for you.
So, Brandon, that was great. And I would imagine the reason a team would lean into a complicated defensive scheme as opposed to a very vanilla basic defense is because the idea is it will, while it might allow a few more big plays via breakdowns, it will generate more big plays in your direction, be it tackles for loss, sacks, or most importantly, forcing turnovers. And right now, this defense is the worst of both worlds. It's allowing more big plays than any team in the league while generating none of them on the other end. They've forced 2 turnovers all year. It's the second worst in the entire NFL, while allowing 35 points per game, the second worst in the entire NFL. It's a disaster. And so there is no saving grace here. And I'm just going to show you a very simple graphic to how bad the pass defense has been. They are turning every quarterback they face into Patrick Mahomes. If you look at it, the passer rating allowed for the Cowboys, the touchdown interception ratio, the yards per game, on the left is quarterbacks facing the Cowboys. On the right is Mahomes. It's the same thing. Guess what? If you play Patrick Mahomes every week, you're going to lose most weeks. You can't let this be your pass defense. Wiles, you can't have every week. It's like, well, damn, we got Mahomes on the schedule again. You're going to be in trouble. But they don't have Mahomes on the schedule. They've had Russell Wilson, who's amazing, Matt Ryan, who's good-ish, Jared Goff, who's mediocre, and Baker, who hasn't played well really consistently since rookie season. And they all look like the GOAT. So, I mean, it's a disaster for the Cowboys. Tell me, Wilds.
You know who's coming up? Our buddy Danny Dimes. Brandon, what happens if Danny Dimes turns into Patrick Mahomes? He's got the 22nd most yards per game. He's been sacked 14 times, and he's thrown as many touchdowns as...